Hello everyone. I'm Muntik Park, the chairman of IYF. Normally, when we are having the World Camp annually, we give the lectures seeing the students in person and looking at your reaction. However, this year, because of the situation, I'm able to meet you through the video. If I'm riding an airplane, I watch movies. When I'm going to Africa, I see continually 4 or 5 movies continually. One time I was coming back transferring at Hong Kong. I slept a night in Hong Kong and next day I met my client and in the afternoon I departed to Incheon. As it took 4 hours to arrive, I was able to see 2 movies. Among the movies, one was titled The Music of Silence. The movie was about Andrea Bocelli, who pioneered the opera genre, who was a world-class vocalist. It was a movie which was made from his autobiography. When he was born, he was healthy. But as he grew up, he was able to realize his eyes were abnormal. When he went to the hospital and checked, he was born with glaucoma. I don't know if now glaucoma is easily treated, but at that time, the disease was not easy to be cured. So the doctor diagnosed this child will lose his eyesight a lot in the future, and if it gets worse, he can even go blind. As what the doctor said, Andrea Bocelli, as he grew up, he wasn't able to see well. So the parents said, we need to do something. We should send him to a school for the blind. And even though he has the blindness, we should send him to school to adapt well to the society. So they sent their son to a boarding school for the blind. One day they had athletic meeting and there was a soccer match. Andrea Bocelli was not the goalkeeper. When he was doing the defense, all of a sudden the goalkeeper went somewhere, so in a daze, he stood before the goal post. The other side player kicked the ball and he was hit on the face directly. So he fell down at the spot and said, I can't see. Before he was able to see a little and differentiate light and shade, see the shape of a man, and even play sports. However, he lost his sight completely and he became a person who wasn't able to do anything. When Andrea Bocelli sings, his eyes are closed. And when he comes out to the stage, he never comes out by himself. A child can hold his hand, or other singers or actors escort him to come out, and he sings and escort him back. At that time, he completely lost the sight of his both eyes. We also, as we live our lives, there are times that it is dark before us. Even though we didn't lose our eyes or eyesight, and it is not that we cannot hear. Even though we have arms, legs, and are healthy, but in our hearts, there are times that we face a moment, the darkness is filled in our hearts. For me, it was 1991 that I met that moment. That year was the time I graduated high school. As I spent my high school years so interestingly, I felt the boundary of school can protect me continually. And as I had a family, I thought as a child, as a student, because I have family and teachers, and there's somebody who can protect me, so I misunderstood I would be able to live in this world continually. But as I graduated high school in the year 1991, those protective film all cleared away and disappeared. And what was placed before my feet was deep darkness itself, which I can't see anything. There were friends who studied and went to college, and there were friends that who was not sufficient, so they went to technical high school, got a good job, and everyone was going their own way. But for me, I had nowhere to go, not even one. There was no place telling me to come and no place for me to dwell. I didn't know how I should live my life. Before, I didn't have any thoughts. Thoughtlessly, I played as I wanted, I acted as I wanted, I just lived as I wanted. But when I see what remained with me as I graduated, there was nothing. I neither could go to college nor have any qualification to have a job. There were not even a small role I can do in the society. I realized for the first time. From the beginning, I was dark, but I didn't know. But as the protection film all cleared away, I finally realized that there is nothing before me. It is dark. A foolish man. This foolish Muntek Park. How will you live your life now? What will you do in your life? Look, your parents are getting old. Look, what is your parent doing? They were doing labor works. You're the only son in this family. So what you will do? So your parents are like that, but what you will do to live your life? I didn't have that question before. I thought that I can do something. As I live my life, I will be able to accomplish something. I thought life and society is so easy. But one time I thought that should I study? But it was too late. The time that I can study had passed. And if I were able to study, I would have done it before. But I didn't study. My mother said, "You're not studying well because you didn't." But always oppositely I said, "Mother, I'm not studying because I'm not good at it." Always when my mother said, I said the opposite thing. But anyways, I didn't know how to study. I was not able to know how to live my life in the society. And I could not live my life like a high school student in the society. Even though I searched over and over again, what should I do? But there was nothing for me to do. And there was nobody who held my hands, leading me, saying to me that you should do this, Muntek. There were nobody who gave me that advice. I had my closest friends. Among two of them, there was one who went to the Naval Academy, and the other one went to the Korean Airways. My friend who went to the Naval Academy because he was staying in Jinhae, so once in a while he had leave, so he came and call his friends. But the free timer, they are very busy. And the free timer, they don't want to meet with the friends who came out for a leave. And that friend said to me, Muntek, please, let's have a fine time. Let's meet. But I said to him that, no, I'm busy, I'm studying, I'm preparing something. And he said, are you calling that study? Are you calling that study? If I thought differently at that time, maybe I could even become an enemy with my friend. But what he said was accurate. For him saying to me, there should have been somebody who said that to me ever since, but there was nobody who said that to me. When I heard him saying that, I was not angry, and it was correct. Am I doing this as a study? And another sound came to me. Hey, Muntek, in this world, there is nothing that you are able to do. There's nothing you can do. Look around you. Look at yourself. Look at your situation. Look before you. There's nothing you can do. I heard this sound. With this sound, I fought 1 and 2 years for my condition to become better, or my head spinning, or I suddenly become a person who is diligent. Clearly, the sound which was arising from within me was saying, there's nothing you can do. But as 1 year, 2 years passed, the conclusion I have made in my heart, there was another sound springing up. So do everything. Yes, so let's do everything. Just now in my heart, it sprang up, there's nothing you can do. Then what reaction should I show? Also, there's nothing for me to do. That is the logic that we think. Taek, in this world, there's nothing you can do. Yes, it's true, there's nothing for me to do. I should just live my life like this. But I don't know why that sound popped out from my heart. If somebody asked me to give a reason, then I can only say I don't know. As 1 year, 2 years passed, the conclusion which was given in my heart was that, so do everything. So did I have suddenly a challenging spirit? Did I receive that training? Did I receive that education? No. There were nobody who gave a piece of advice to me because at that time, I was a person who was right before explosion. So if somebody touched me, then I will explode. So everybody around me were careful about me. However, in my heart, so do everything. So do everything. Why? Because I had completely nothing. Let's say if there is somebody that I have done up to now, then I can continue with it, and what I should do is decide it. But Muntik, in this world, there's nothing for you to do. So that's why I was able to do everything. Let's say in a land, there was an old building on the land. Then what can you do on that land? It would be great if a new building is built, but the building owners cannot decide that easily because for them to build a new building, until they build a new building, they cannot get any profit. And for them to build a building, they have to use a lot of finance. So they just have a thought that should I just receive rent and continue to live like this? Or should I spend money to build a new building? They have a lot of conflict. So in a land which is already built, then it's not easy to build a new building. But let's say there's nothing built on that land. Then whatever I want to build, I can build on that land. Of course, I didn't know what I can do. I didn't know how my future will be open before me. For me to be a lawyer, for me to go to law school, and then to have a happy family, I didn't know anything about it. But when Andrea Bocelli lost his eyesight, actually the movie was, for 2 hours, a lot of content was left out. Even though there were a lot of touching contents, but a lot of contents were left out. When I saw that movie, it was so good. So as soon as I landed into an airport, I searched the internet. But there was a second-hand English version in Aladdin. So I received that book. Line by line, I read the book, and it was so nice. Even that scene is on the movie. When he was 12 years old, in Andrea Bocelli, he was called Amos. He was hit by a ball and completely lost his eyesight. His parents brought Andrea Bocelli and went to the hospital. He became blind. The mother beside him silently, she was sobbing. She was crying. Why she was crying? Why was she crying? Because my son, now he completely lost his eyesight. Being in the process of losing the eyesight and completely losing the eyesight is completely different. Now he had no possibility whatsoever. There was no possibility for them to delay the time, and there was no possibility for him to open his eyes again. He cannot see anymore, and that's how he have to live the rest of his life. As Andrea Bocelli heard her sobbing, he asked the question, "Why are you crying, Mama?" Andrea Bocelli knew the reason why the mother was crying, but he asked a question to his mother. "Why are you crying, Mama?" Mama didn't answer, because there was no reason for her to answer. "Because you're not able to see anymore, so I'm so sad. How can we live?" Even though this thought was filled in her heart, but what is the use for her to saying this? What is the use for her to saying this? Because the son already know everything. He know very much more than anybody else that he is not able to see anymore. So for there was no reason for her to say, what should we do that you cannot see anymore? So that's why the mother didn't answer but gave a question to him. Did you see only darkness now? Did you see only darkness now? The mother was curious because he cannot see anymore. What is in your heart? Is there only darkness? What is that? Andrea Bocelli answers. He was 12 years old. It was not that after he went through that, he went through a lot of a lot of thoughts, but the mother was sobbing. Can you only see darkness? And what Andrea Bocelli answered was, no, Mama. The mother was curious. The mother asked, then what do you see? Then what do you see? Then what do you see? Andrea Bocelli answers, this answer I can erase from my heart. He answered, everything and nothing. What is this meaning? It's not easy to interpret. Everything and nothing? He answered, everything and nothing. To which question? Then what do you see? She asked, what do you see? He answered, everything and nothing. Let's say you receive this question. What do you want to have? How much do you want to have? Then you're able to answer everything. I want to have everything. Then you can use that one word, everything. Then what do you have? If you have nothing, then you can answer nothing. I have nothing. This is how you can use everything and nothing separately. But if you really want everything and nothing together, and if you really want to use these two words in one sentence, then you can put or. Everything or nothing. Everything or nothing. This is how you can say. But in this piece and in this book, what Andrea Bocelli said was everything and nothing. These two words cannot coexist because these words cannot be used together. With the conjunction and, you cannot use two words, everything and nothing. You can either use one or use the conjunction or something or nothing. But you cannot use everything and nothing. With the conjunction and, you cannot use these two words. But Andrea Bocelli said everything and nothing. Why is it so? The reason is not explained in the movie or the book. However, Andrea Bocelli, when we see his life, then we can find the answer. Andrea Bocelli became a person who cannot see with his physical eyes, but with his mind and heart, he had the world being able to see everything. When he said everything and nothing, I would explain this mathematically. Let's say everything is 100. Everything is 100. How about nothing? Nothing is 0. And has the meaning of addition. What is everything plus nothing? It is everything. This Andrea Bocelli, he could not get rid of nothing. Why is it so? Because he is not able to see. He's not able to see. So the word nothing was included. But in the heart of Andrea Bocelli, he had to push that word away. It was not that he wanted to push it away, but for him to live in the future, even though he is not able to see with his physical eyes, But he had to have the world to be able to see with the eyes of his heart. Even though I cannot see with my eyes, but I can see everything with my heart. That is what he answered to his mom. Then what do you see? Everything and nothing. That's what he said. I shared my experience with you, and the same question came to me. There's nothing you are able to do. There's nothing you can do. The word nothing came to me, but I was not able to live my life eating that word nothing. After I graduate high school, how much I will live, how well I will live, I didn't know. But I was not able to live eating nothing. I didn't know any other reason, but only the reason was for me to survive. So do everything. Even though nothing was in my heart, but everything was also in my heart. When there's everything and nothing, then nothing cannot show any power. It cannot do anything because the everything is eating up all the nothing. Even though you plus something to zero, even though you subtract something to zero, then it's the front number. The number zero cannot give any influence to the front number. Everyone, as we live our life, we meet a lot of moments like this. There are times that we're not able to see anything, and it seems that there is nothing remaining for me, and there is nothing that I can do. Sometimes we'll lose our health, and sometimes we will lose our loving ones. Sometimes the study and the business I work hard will collapse. Even though it's not that kind of big crisis, but moment by moment, we have a lot of mentally crisis coming to us. You're not able to do anything. We continue to see ourselves. What can you do? You're originally that kind of person. Even though you try, it will not work out. Even though you try, it's meaningless. You're different from other people. Your family, your household is different from those households. This sounds countlessly is arising from within us. My son really loves to play soccer. When I finish all my work and it becomes 10:30 to 11 p.m. and I go to the playground, I play soccer with my son because my son whole day waits for this moment. But I was so tired, I told him that let's do it once in 2 days. My son's heart is filled with the dream that he wants to be a soccer player. Always we bet for 5 points and there are many times I lose. Yeah, it's true my son is kicking randomly to me, toward my face, toward my stomach. He is kicking with all his strength. But for me, I cannot do that. I cannot kick with all my strength. I kick ground ball to him, so there are many times I lose. So does my son have a talent as a soccer player? For me, I'm not a soccer player, I'm not an expert. So maybe my son can have the talent or not. So if the children they want to be a soccer player, what does the adults say? There are many times the adults are mean. They are breaking their dreams. When I see your body, you don't have a body to become a soccer player. With that body, you cannot be a soccer player. Likewise, they break the dreams that the children have. You have to have a dream which is realistic. This is a word I hate the most. If it's realistic, then it's no longer a dream. It is a plan, it is an expectation, but we cannot call that a dream. The dream is the one which I cannot imagine. The dream is what I cannot accomplish. To cherish this in our hearts, that is a dream. We think of what I'm able to do. We think of what I have. by this, everything cannot be formed in us. It is totally opposite from this. So why did Andrea Bocelli said everything? It was not because he was able to see everything that he said everything. Because there's the next conversation. Mother, I can remember the beds. I can remember my desk. I remember the table, the cupboard. Andrea Bocelli, he remembered of the memory what he saw. Then why? He can just say that he can see that, but why did he say everything? Because when he say everything, he's able to see from that moment. If Andrea Bocelli said, Mother, I cannot see anything, don't ask me that question. Mother, you can see me now. You can see the scenery outside. You're able to see the bed. But for me, I cannot see anything. I am not able to see. I have to live in this condition. That fits our common sense. So that's why Andrea Bocelli said nothing. For him to be a great tenor and then to share this beautiful music, he would not be able to be that kind of person. It was not that he could see everything, that he said everything, but he was not able to see. But why did he see everything? Because when he said that, then he will be start able to see. It was not that after he saw everything that he said everything, but after he became 12 years old, he had to continue live his life up to that point that he lived for him to see. Then even though he hated it from his heart, and even though he was so painful for him to spit this out from his mouth, but he had to say everything. Mother, I can see everything. And actually, Andrea Bocelli is walking to a path that he's able to see everything, even up to now. Even us, when we say that I cannot see anything, when somebody plant us the thought that nothing. Yeah, it's true, nothing. We cannot do anything about it. But we can add one more thing in front, like Andrea Bocelli. We can leave nothing. We cannot erase this because they cannot go out of my heart. So we just leave nothing. But it's not only nothing which is there, but everything is there as well. Everything and nothing. Then even though there is nothing, it cannot give any influence to everything among you. If there is anybody who have difficulty or despair in your hearts, if people see you outwardly, it seems that you're okay. But if you cannot even go to sleep because you are worried for your future and you are regretful for yourself and you think miserable about yourself, that moment somebody will ask you, then what do you see? What do you see? That moment you have to answer. In this blank, you need to answer everything and nothing. Even though nothing is after everything, but it cannot give any influence to everything. If you say this and if you have this heart, in front of you, the life of everything will be shown in front of you. Even though Andrea Bocelli is blind, but even now he is performing before a lot of people. And then in 12th of April, in front of the cathedral in Milano, he sang a song, Amazing Grace. Even though he was appeared always splendidly, but at that moment he was a haggard, middle-aged old man. Also, his family had a corona in March. But that day, 12th of April, it was a day that a lot of people in Europe, in America, in South America, a lot of people passed away. So it was a day that the streets were blocked. If you see the video, then you can see the streets which are empty. New York, Milano, a lot of cities, but you can see the empty streets. Andrea Bocelli sings a song, Amazing Grace, to those streets. he was singing the grace of God. And that song to a lot of people have given movement. Why? Because Andre Bocelli had an eye to see the pain in the heart of people. And also he knew what he can do and what he should do. Because his heart was filled with everything. It was possible. I would like to conclude my lecture. Whether we go through a lot of incidents or big incident or small incident, regardless of that, in our hearts, when darkness comes and despair comes, there are many times which these things comes. Even though nothing really big happens, but there are times that despair comes to our hearts. And with that despair, a question follows. What do you see? And what I or you should do? We should not answer according to what we see. I cannot see anything. It's true, but the moment that you answer this way, it will become your fate. But if you answer, I'm able to do everything, that also seems nonsense, but also that will become that person's fate. Which fate would you choose? How would you live your life? Decides according to which side do you stand at that moment. When those questions comes to your heart, I hope that you will answer the same answer that Andre Bocelli said. Everything and nothing. Thank you very much.